Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. My name is Dan Davis, and at this current stage, it is just myself this evening. Mathew Duffin's had to rush off in an emergency, and so sadly, you're going to have to put up with myself tonight. But hopefully, you guys in the chat can keep me entertained. And as you can see, it's going to be a bit of a botch job here from myself, but I'm going to try my very best to give you the best action here for the Pro-Am category. But like I said, it's just myself here this evening. I'm going to bring you all the action of Monza once again after a fantastic night's worth of racing in the GT4s. We look to the Pro-Am Championship now tonight here this evening, racing around the Temple of Speed. And we are looking forward to some fast, tight, quick action around here. We've been very lucky this week with the weather here at Monza. It is beautiful sunshine, beautiful weather, and right now we have got an F1 driver, obviously not the real one, but we got Lando Norris out on track at the minute, currently a 10th off the pace set by Dennis Hansen at the minute, but we are expecting those times to become a lot quicker. But nonetheless, we are here at Monza, and a fantastic circuit nonetheless. A quick run through the championship standings on the Pro-Am. It is Richie Michelle leading the way, 83 points ahead of Robert Smith in second place. Dennis Hansen sitting in P3 with Justin Winter P4. Old Sim Racer P5 with Steve Beck in P6. Burko Ritchie P7 with John Goudet in P8. Then we've got Casper Olin in P9 with Sam in P10. Francisco sitting in 11th with Paul Williams sat in 12th place. So we've got Fat Bloke in 13th place position with Kieran Arjun in 14th. Lando Norris in 15th place position with Brian Craig in 16th. Darren Bell sitting 17th in the championship with Playerman in 18th. Gary Carble in 19th place position with Monkey Boy sat in 20th. 21st is the Cranky Duckhead, and we've got Luke Saunders in 22nd. DJ Phil is in 23rd, and then in 24th is Rob Smith. Graham 25th with the Jackal in 26th. Kane in 28th, and Ramsell in 29th, and Vigas in 30th place position. And that is that for the Drivers' Championship. Regarding the Constructors, it's looking like this. Richie Corsa leading away with quite a comfortable gap of 89 points ahead of the Dane Train team, with Forever Forward Racing sat in P4. Stage 2 Motorsport in P5 with Team FBR in Stage 2 Motorsport in P4 with Team FBR in P5. P6 is the Greasy Bandits Racing with Roadrunner Bandits in P7. Team Tom in P8 with Team Murloc P9. Then in P10 is the Naval Racing Team. As you see there, Richie and Michelle having a big moment there. The Naval Racing Team 2. With McLaren Racing in 11th place. 12th is Speedy Gonzalez Motorsport. 13th is Greasy Bandits Jr., and in 14th is Cam Racing. Regarding the manufacturers, it is Ferrari leading the way. Ferrari are leading the way with Ginetta in second. BMW, Mercedes, Porsche, McLaren, Aston Martin, Alpine, Lexus, Lamborghini, Ford, Honda, Bentley, Nissan are all out of the championship. So joining us tonight are two new drivers. They are two drivers who are reserves, I believe. And we have got a biker up. I'm going to go with just biker. In P5 in a minute in his Ferrari, the 59 Ferrari, and a DJ Ramsell as well, both running a very similar livery, and I'm guessing they're good friends as well. But like I said, good evening to everybody in the chat. We've got Tips in the chat. We got one of the FBR boys as well in the chat, Andrew as well, supporting his fellow FBR drivers. So guys, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss any of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport. And this is how tonight is going to work, and also for tomorrow night. The schedule here this evening, we have got a sprint race coming up just in a few moments time, reverse of the championship order. So obviously what I've just read out, the drivers will run in a backwards order to that. Obviously on reserves, we'll start from the back of the pack, and we will start things off with just a 20-minute race. The pit stop is required. So they will have to come and stop within that 10-minute window. They don't need to change tyre. Well, they do need to add at least a litre worth of fuel, but they don't need to change tyres or nothing like that. Once that's then over, we then go into a 15-minute qualifying session, which I'm Andy. Oh, nice seeing you in the chat, Andy. Sorry, just it's weird seeing people's names in the chat as well. PN also in the chat. Good evening to him. Yeah, we then go into a 15-minute qualifying session. That will determine the grid for the feature race, which is an hour-long race, and halfway through the race will be a 10-minute window, where, again, it's whether or not you change tyres around here, and it's unlikely to happen as this circuit is fairly simple. The good thing about this circuit, it is very much no, it's all right, Pierre, no, I've got this, it's fine. The track's very simple to learn, but it's also very difficult to master. It's one of those circuits that you do have to spend quite a bit of time to really get the hang of, to master it very, very well. But it's very famous circuit as well. The Temple of Speed, it's known as. The banking goes around the track as well. So it's, yeah. It's a very solid circuit for some great racing, and very popular just in the open lobbies as well. So as we see, the two newbies just currently on track, running together pretty much on circuit, getting their last bit of practice in just before the sprint race is about to begin. And also, while we are on the subject of liking and subscribing to the channel, if you head over to the description as well, you'll see our fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much more, including SimPlay merchandise. And also, there's Audio Sport, manufacturers of VW Transporter, T4 Audio Solutions, and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk and hit that link to the Facebook as well, as these guys are just going to be finishing their last run. This is DJ Ramsell currently on a lap. I said it's just the Pro-Ams tonight. Tomorrow will be the pros, and already you can see it's relatively close. Top all the way down to 9th place to Paul Williams. It's about a second between those guys at the minute. Monkey Boy and Paul Williams actually matching one another, so everybody knows Monza relatively well. I said they're a bit at the back, and they're not. They are halfway down the pack. Yeah, they are halfway down. I say that the reverse grid has not been applied. That's brilliant. Great, and I don't have the file. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Right. If people give me a few moments' time. Sorry, guys.
30 seconds.
Just the fun of things being rushed around, isn't it?
20 seconds.
So, we've got a random grid now.
10 seconds.
Sadly, it's going to have to just be this for now. I don't know how to change the files. I don't know how to mess with it. I have no real help regarding that. So we're just going to have to leave it. Apologies to the guys, but this is the grid. This is what it's going to have to be. Yeah. Anyway, well, this is going to have to be the grid for this evening. I was even trying to find the file for the reverse grid also, but yeah, clearly we're not going to be having that. Anyway, let's focus on this, as this is going to have to be the random grid. Apologies to the drivers if it is a bit of a convenience, but this is what it's going to have to be. So it's going to be Robert Smith who starts on pole position, with Paul Williams in second. Third would be Casper Olin, Dennis Hansen in P4. Sam will start P5. Gary Klarbel in P6, with Lando Norris P7. Luke Saunders in P8, and Francesco Gomez in P9. P10 is a player man, but he's not going to be there. Rob Smith in 11th, Cranky Duckhead in 12th, Brian Craig in 13th, Biker in 14th, Steve Beck in 15th, DJ Ramsell in 16th, Justin Winter in 17th, Mirko Ritchie is in the pits, Richie Michelle starting 19th, Monkey Boy in 20th, Old Sim Racer in 21st, DJ Phil 22nd, Fat Bloke in 23rd, John Goudet at the back, and Arjun last as well. As you probably heard, Arjun, Matt is not currently here. He should have been able to do the file. The file hasn't worked correctly, and it's not gone to plan, so sadly it's going to have to be this random grid. I don't know how to change the file. I don't know how to adjust it correctly, so it is, yeah. We're just going to have to go with this random grid, and again, all I can do is just apologise. It's not really been the smoothest night. I'm kind of been left to trying to figure this out myself, but we'll go with it. It saves me messing about with the server and getting it completely wrong. So we're just going to have to go over the random grid, which could spice things up anyway, but nonetheless, it is what it is. As we get ourselves prepped and ready to go here. Like I said, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. As we come up to Ascari, just as they all start to get themselves prepped and ready to go. Good evening, peaceful stepdad in the chat, as we're about to get things underway here for the sprint race. As they head up towards Parabolica. For the first time tonight, we're about to get themselves into a 2x2 formation. Drivers are just going to have to deal with it. They're going to have to race with it, as they get themselves ready to go racing here at Monza. Really random, weird grid at the minute, but we're about to go and wait for the green as they come into the final corner. Now, it's BMW versus McLaren on the front row. Not quite the way we would have envisioned it, but anything can still happen here at Monza as we wait for the green here. We are green and go at Monza, and already we can see one of the McLarens there, the Casper Olin, looking to attack Robert Smith going down towards turn number 1 as he gets a decent start. But the other McLaren, Paul Williams, looking to the outside as we go racing here at Monza down towards turn number 1. Are they going to keep it relatively clean? Lando Norris has gone off and into the wall, I think. Yes, he has. And there's multiple cars off, multiple incidences as they're into turn number 1. I believe also there's a Ferrari there gone off, multiple cars involved. The Cranky Duckhead's been involved in this as well. And yeah, man, this is really good. The Cranky Duckhead has gone round, and I see also Monkey Boy's gone round as well. He's had an incident. He's ended up in the wall. And as all the other cars who started from pit lane now exit, as Richie Michelle already up to P5 from the start. No, sorry, that's obviously the times catching up. But it's Robert Smith leading the way from Casper Olin, Paul Williams, Dennis Hansen, Dennis Francesco, Sam, then Gary Klarbel, Lando Norris, Steve Beck, Ramsell, Luke Saunders, Richie Michelle, Justin Winter, DJ Phil's got a drive through with Fat Bloke just in front of him, Old Sim Racer, Goudet, Argent, and Cranky Duckhead, Rob Smith, Monkey Boy, Player Man, all got caught up in those incidences at the start of the race. Skunky says Lance Stroll in the wall as we head up towards the Scary chicane. Robert Smith got a decent start as Dennis Hansen goes up the inside of Paul Williams and gets the job done. He's now got to worry about the BMW of Francesco Gomez, who's had a decent exit out of the Scary chicane. As Biker's under a little bit of pressure from Sam and Klarbel, who's had a pretty decent start themselves. And we've got a car off further back. Who is that? I'm not sure who that is, dropping all the way back the order. I can't seem to see who it is, but there is a car to the back of the pack. But Robert Smith pulls away with Casper Olin in second, Dennis Hansen in third, Francesco Gomez in fourth, with Paul Williams trying to keep with them as much as they can, with Biker in sixth and Sam being chased by Gary Klarbel, who's going to look to the inside, but the Porsche hasn't got quite the straight line speed of the BMW, as the leaders all kind of end up staying in a relatively good position. As there goes Richie Michel, missing the chicane, having to go straight on, and will have to conceal that position. Richie Michel will have to give the position up. I don't know why, Peaceful, we've gone racing. We might as well just leave it as they all go through the Parabolica. Well, Peaceful was saying he's going to do a reset, so I'm going to say drivers keep racing until, unless you see the server reset. But Justin Winter, Adam Eric currently defending from Richie Michel, who's going to look to the outside of Lesmo 1. And into Lesmo 2, there you go. But you see there, Paul Williams is actually coming under a bit of pressure now from the Ferrari of Biker. And looks like we're having a reset so we can have the reverse grid by the list of things. So these guys getting a mini race practice session at the moment. As Robert Smith goes straight over the chicane. I'm expecting a server reset anytime soon. And like I said, I'm going to try and keep commentating on what I can right now. But at the minute, we are expecting things to change, but it's a good little practice session for these guys for the race. But I am telling them just to keep racing. There is a car in the pits, that is the Cronky Duckhead. Luckily for him, things should be about to a reset fairly soon. Yeah, Lando Norris at the minute just staying ahead of Ramsell. And cars bouncing over the chicane, bouncing all over the place. But right now, Robert Smith still leading the way from Dennis Hansen, who sets the fastest lap. Casper Olle in third. Francesco Gomez in fourth. Fifth is Paul Williams. Sixth is Biker. Seventh is Sam. Eighth is Gary Klarbel. Ninth is Lando Norris and DJ Ramsell in P10. Brian Craig in P11. Justin Winter in P12. Richie Michel P13. Luke Saunders in 14th. Old Sim Racer, Fat Bloke, Goudet, Argent, Player Man, Mirko Ritchie, Monkey Boy, Steve Beck, Robert Smith, DJ Phil, and the Cranky Duckhead as well, all in that order. Oh, as we see a little bit of a door banging going on here with Klarbel and Justin Winter. There's a whole gaggle of cars here. It was great racing to watch, to be fair. But yeah, the reset is needed. But I do think we're going to get a combination of people complaining about this, and then obviously complaining that they're having a great race. So we're just going to have to wait and see as Justin Winter, and there goes a Ferrari off as well. It's just getting a little bit silly now as Biker comes into the pit. Fat Bloke has got his pit stop done. Argent's in the pits as well. Meanwhile, we're going to have watch this great fight between Robert Smith and Dennis Hansen. They're going to just get themselves a little bit eyed up with one another. And a good time for them to practice pit stops, I guess, to make sure they nail that. But hopefully we'll get the server reset very soon. Chloe Davis in the chat. Hello, nice to see you in the chat, Chloe. But Peace was trying to do a reset server, and Hansen had a poor exit there, lost the rear end and losing big chunk of time to Robert Smith. Gomez in fourth with Paul Williams coming into the pits by the looks of things, so good practice for him as Lando Norris going up the inside of Sam. And that's a job done for Lando. He'll gain 2 positions as 1 car's in the pits. Richie Michelle up to 8th with Brian Craig in 9th. Luke Saunders opting to bail into the pits. Justin Winters in 13th. Glarbal moving up to 12 as Luke Saunders comes in. Ramsell comes in and looks like another Lamborghini. That is Mirko Ritchie into the pits. And Monkey Boy opting to stay out as well. DJ Phil not having the best race. He's had all sorts of issues and problems. But he's managed to get himself facing the right way and racing hard with a couple of the guys who have pitted. Robert Smith in first with Dennis Hansen just dropping off the bat now, with Gomez in 4th, Lando in 5th, Sam in 6th, Richie Michelle in 7th, Brian Craig in 8th, Old Sim Racer in 9th, and Justin Winter in 10th, Gary Klarbel in 11th. And this is where all the pitters have come in. I don't want to get too excited because, like I said, there is a server reset coming very shortly. But again, like I said, it's a great chance for the drivers to get a little bit of racing practice in. So after having the server late to be reset, and obviously the server being wrong as well, we are trying to get things back to its normal plan. And Monkey Boy all over the grass there, bouncing all over the shot. He is going to get a second chance, luckily. Francesco Gomez is now in the pits. Richie Michelle says fastest lap. Sam is in now. Brian Craig is into the pits. Justin Winter now coming into the pits. And that looks like John Goudet also coming to pit lane. Franco Gomez gets going. There's Sam going as well. So Sam's jumped him in the pins. So Gomez obviously had a longer stop there by the looks of things. But where is... there's Paul Williams. He comes on through, passing both Gomez. Is he going to get Sam just at the very end? Biker's there with him as well. And Paul Williams goes to the outside of the chicane. He's going to have the inside to his fellow FBR driver, Sam. And through he goes up into... he's going to fight for that 14th place position. I was actually probably like 10th or something, actually. They're fighting for, and he's going to stay to the outside of the Curva Grande. Trying to send it into the second chicane. And Sam trying to be later on the brakes, and he gets it stopped brilliantly there. Like he's been in a McDonald's car park trying to go for his Big Mac. As these guys are batting it out for 9th and 10th place position. Robert Smith comes into the pit, and Dennis Hansen choosing to carry on. Lando Norris is in as well. Gary Klarbel coming into pit lane now. And Sam now just pulled away from Paul Williams. Paul Williams has had a moment somewhere because he's dropped down the order quite a bit. So Paul Williams losing out here. He's got just behind him Brian Craig and John Goudet battling out. And John Goudet is looking to the inside of Brian Craig. Brian Craig just giving him enough room for the Mercedes to come up the inside. And breaking into turn number 1 they go. John Goudet sends it up the inside and gets the job done. Casper Olin has had a moment, I think, somewhere because he's dropped behind Richie Michel. Richie Michel has passed Casper Olin. Old Sim Racer as well. Or were they behind anyway? I think Casper Olin made a mistake. But he's dropped down the order. We'll see where all this pans out later on. I've just been given the word that the server will be reset now. So fingers crossed it will be correct. And yeah, we've had a server reset. Apologies for this, ladies and gentlemen. We'll try and get us usual schedule back up and running. While you're at it, guys, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss any of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport. But yeah, hopefully we should have this reverse grid in properly now.
Green light. Go, go, go.
So we are managing to hopefully get everybody back into the session. I've only got 5 minutes to get in here, and obviously the end of the session as well. Somebody has gone out on track. That's the Cranky Duckhead. Luckily, luckily he's able to go out and just extend the session so that everyone can get back in. And now I'm gonna have to try and relearn who was where. Going to be a controversial night, a bit of a night at Mexican Grand Prix. But hopefully we should have all the drivers in. We'll go on board with the Cranky Duckhead, just get another look at this Monza circuit. Yeah, like I said, it's just been a bit of a mess, really. Tonight, like I said, obviously things haven't gone to plan, but nonetheless, we will get everything sorted now. Yeah, thank you very much to Peaceful. Why? Oh. All right, so server. Oh, Jesus, Cranky. There's a curb there, mate. His car driving a bit like a bit of a back end of a donkey there. So again, apologies, guys, for the confusion. Tonight we will get this reverse grid done correctly if As soon as Cranky and DJ Phil are back in the pits, we should be able to go into the reverse grid and do this properly this time. But yeah, we're... Oh, and Cranky's in the wall. Just experimenting track limits there by the list of things. I'm not sure why drivers are going out on track. Complete waste of time. We want to get straight into the feature. I guess they wanted to make sure that their setups are loaded up properly. But nonetheless... yeah. We should hopefully have everything working because the two new drivers have got their names changed. So I can't spot them out now. Oh, John Goudet's dropped it. So yeah, welcome to Monza, guys. Another read through the championship standings, I think. Richie Michelle leading the way from Robert Smith in second. Dennis Hansen third in the championship with Justin Winter in P4. Old Sim Racer P5. Steve Beck in P6. Mirko Ricci in P7 with John Goudet in P8. Casper Oll in P9. Sam in P10. Francesco in P11 with... Paul Williams in 12th, Fat Bloke in 13th, Argent in 14th place position, with Norris in 15th, Brian Craig in 16th, Darren Bell in, I don't know why I said Taylor, Darren Bell in 17th, with Playerman in 18th, Gary Clarble in 19th, Monkey Boy 20th. Hopefully we should have the correct reverse grid now. Yes, we do. Even though Robert Smith and Richie Michelle are wrong way round, but hey ho, it's good enough. So Gary Clarble 19th in the championship, Monkey Boy in 20th, Cranky Duckhead in 21st, Luke Saunders in 22nd, DJ Phil in 23rd, Rob Smith in 24th, Graham in 25th, Jackal in 26th, Kane in 28th, and Ramsell in 29th, and Vigas in 30th position. So, as you can see, the reverse grid has been put on correctly now, and it's Rob Smith who's going to start on pole position tonight. Thanks for that, but it's more to the drivers, if anything. I know they've
30 seconds.
Gone out and practiced, and they got pretty much halfway through that race. Yeah, we do promise a reverse grid. We're going to make sure that we do get it, and here it is. So fingers crossed. We have no more issues tonight.
10 seconds.
As we just wait for the drivers to get themselves ready to start the sprint race properly this time. But yes. Sadly, I'm not going to be doing interviews tonight, so if you do end up on the podium, I apologise, but I will not be doing it due to the fact that we are going to be tight on time anyway. Yeah, sadly, no interviews tonight. DJ Field's returned back to the pits. So I'm just double checking that the grid order is close enough. It is relatively close. Other than DJ Phil now started from pit lane, which will help everyone else move up forward. As Rob Smith starting on pole position ahead of Luke Saunders from Cranky Duckhead. I don't know where DJ Phil has gone. Yeah, he's down in the pits. And also Steve and hasn't made the start either. Rob Smith on pole position from Luke Saunders, from Cranky Duckhead, from Monkey Boy, from Gary Klabel, from a Player Man, from Brian Craig, Lando Norris, Argent in 9th, 10th is Fat Bloke, Paul Williams is in 11th, 12th is Franco Gomez, 13th is Sam, Casper Olin will start in 14th, John Goudet in 15th, Mirko Ritchie in 16th, Steve Beck in 17th place position, Justin Winter in 18th, Old Sim Racer 19th, Dennis Hansen 20th, 21st is Richie Michelle, Robert Smith in 22nd, and Robert Ramsell starting from the back of the pad, DJ Phil starting from pit lane, as will Stephen as well. Right, we're about to get things underway here for the first race tonight. Sorry, just catching up on what the admins are trying to say. But we're about to get racing properly this time for the sprint race. It is the Ferrari and the BMW on the front row. No DJ Frill, so there's going to be a space missing as well. So Rob Smith got pretty much the whole space to himself. As he can pick and choose where he wants to go, but he needs to make sure he gets a good jump as we go racing for the first time here tonight at Monza, and we wait for the green flag. We are green and go here at Monza. Heading down to turn number 1, and Luke Saunders had a brilliant start, and Monkey Boy right behind as well. Gary Klobber, there's loads of cars fanning out behind. Are they going to have a better run down towards turn number 1? No, there's more damage. There's more chaos behind. There's a spinning BMW as Richie Michelle gets caught up in it, and it is Fat Bloke who ends up in contact there with Richie Michelle. Not sure what happened as Cranky Duckhead once again has gone round. There's also Casper Olin has spun round and gone off. As the guys in the pit lane now get going, but Casper Olin drops down the order as Dennis Hansen's gone off as well. So the back runners are trying their hardest to work their through. Casper Olin goes off again in the Curva Grande. But it is Luke Saunders leading the way. Oh, as we see there, just Rob Smith losing the back end of his car. But it's Luke Saunders from Player Man, from Monkey Boy, from Rob Smith, and Francesco Gomez and Lando Norris, your top 6 at the minute. But Casper Olin still not going. Yeah, he has finally got going, but he drops right to the back of the pack. DJ Phil with him as well, as they're desperately trying to get on the pace. And there's a Fat Bloke with big damage to the front end of his BMW. As they head down towards the Ascari chicane, Luke Saunders looking to try and pull away as best he can, and everyone else just working their way through. A bit of damage on Lando Norris's car, as Paul Williams is at a moment. He's dropped in the Ascari chicane. And I thought with a bit of a practice run, these guys might have got the hang of the race start, but Luke Saunders now trying to pull away from the cars behind as Player Man and Monkey Boy try and stay with him. Rob Smith ahead of Francesco Gomez. Oh, and he has a big snap on the rear end of his BMW. As they head down towards turn number 1, Rob Smith under pressure here, but it's going to be Monkey Boy attacking Player Man into turn number 1. As Player Man looks to the inside, can't find a... Monkey Boy looks to the inside but can't get the job done, as Argent goes straight on at the chicane, and Lando Norris now onto the back of Francesco Gomez. Mirko Ritchie's had a great race, but so far he's pulling away from cars, as Justin Winter now looking to make a move on Argent, and he does so. Monkey Boy, has he found a way past on player man? No, but Francesco has on Rob Smith and gets that job done. Can Lando Norris capitalise now as he heads into the first Lesmos? Can't quite get alongside him at the minute. As Mirko Ricci and Justin Winter going out to try and stick with the pack. Argent with them as well. Brian Craig and old Sim Racer. And there, Dennis Hansen with big damage to the front end of his car. He's dropping down the order pretty quickly. Richie Michel's got damage, as has Fat Bloke, but he's still sticking out with it. He's going to carry on going for the meantime. Oh, as Lando Norris goes deep into the Ascari chicane, bouncing over the gravel, bouncing over the curb, and is that going to allow Rob Smith to come back at him once again? But here comes Mirko Ricci. He's all over the grass as he clears those cars. Justin Winter also going with them. BN saying chaos and Skunky saying entertainment. And Justin Winter and Mirko Ricci come together, and everyone tries to avoid them. And Mirko Ricci luckily doesn't get collected by anyone. Old Sim Racer works his way through, so does Sam. Robert Smith is not a million miles away from all of this, as they're all jostling for position. Monkey Boy has now cleared a player man, and Francesco Gomez sets to hunt them down. But this has just allowed the top four to just disappear into the distance. Brian Craig under pressure from Rob Smith, who's got everyone else coming out. Mirko Ricci missing his brakes into turn number one. And all the way down to John Goudet now, this whole pack here. So 16 all the way up to P5 pretty much, all in one small cluster of cars. Richie Mistel with not too much damage to the front of his car. Oh, that looks like Casper Olin. He's had a moment off at the chicane. He's going straight on and having to hit the barriers. So, Luke Saunders, though, leading the way. Fastest lap to his name. In second is Monkey Boy. Third is Player Man. Fourth is Franco Gomez. And Justin Winter still ahead of Lando Norris, Brian Craig, Rob Smith, Old Sim Racer, Argent, and this whole gaggle of cars, literally from Rob Smith all the way down to John Goudet. There is loads of cars in this squabble. Should just keep resetting the server after first corner. Oh, Skunky. Rob Smith now actually pulling away from this gaggle of cars. This Old Sim Racer now, who's the trolley train at the minute, as everyone else is trying to find their way through. John Goudet is on the back of Ramsell, Robert Ramsell. And John Goudet looking left, looking right. He runs a little bit wide as cars now start to pit, and one of them is Robert Smith. Rob Smith and Robert Smith, that really helps me out, as Richie Michel, even with damage, just fastest lap of the race. So that clean air is helping him out massively here. But still, Luke Saunders leading away from Monkey Boy, from Player Man, who's got Francesco Gomez now right behind him. The BMW driver looking strong now. And Francesco misses his brakes and goes deep into the chicane and loses out to Player Man. He'll have to get that position back. And Justin Winter pulling away from Lando. Then you've got Old Sim Racer Argers under pressure from Mirko Ricci. And Mirko Ricci now looking to the outside of Lesmo 1. He won't be able to do it there. He's got Sam right behind him as well. And John Goudet just behind Robert Ramsell. There's so many Robs and Roberts in the Pro-Am category now. It's really difficult to separate them. The 133, that is Casper Olin. He's got a stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So that's really going to hurt him now. Oh, Player Man just pushing the limits there. And Francesco Gomez in P4. And Sam sitting in P10. Oh, there's a car off. That is Robert Ramsell. Can he get it going without making too much carnage? He manages to do so. That is Steve Beck going through. That's John Goudet. So they've obviously had it coming together. John Goudet's been involved in it, possibly trying to make the move up the inside and failing to get the job done. anyone else opting to come into the pits. Luke Saunders still, Monkey Boy from Player Man, from Gomez, from Justin Winter, Lando, Old Sim Racer, Argent, and Mirko, Richie and Sam both coming into the pits. Does Robert Ramsell come into the pits? He looking like he is. Yes, he is. With that damage on his car. Francesco Gomez now up towards turn number 4 into the chicane. Can he find a way through? At the moment, he's all over the gravel and can't get past the Porsche driver at the minute. Meanwhile, Stephen has cleared, he has cleared John Agude, who was obviously involved in all the instances earlier on, but Mirko Richie has come out. So is Sam. Sam's had a great pit stop. It was Rob Smith who was the leader of all that. Robert Smith, there he is. And Robert Smith's jumped quite a few cars. He's now jumped Sam as well. Not Sam, sorry. He's just fallen in behind Sam as they go through the first couple of the chicanes. Luke Saunders, though, still in control of this race, ahead of Monkey Boy, who's lost a little bit of time to Player Man, and Francesco, who have caught them up. Through Parabolica they go. And Monkey Boy opts to bail in, so does Francesco. And I think if anything, that might hold him up. Justin Winter stays out, as does Lando. Probably a good call from these cars at the minute, just to stay out. Argent nearly dropping the rear as, is that, that's Fat Bloke, I think, in the, yeah, that is Fat Bloke just ahead of Richie Michelle. A couple of laps down, obviously, due to the damage that he's had. Luke Saunders, though, takes the fastest lap back from Richie Michelle once again. And a stop and go has been cleared by Casper Olin, who will drop into the back of the pack. But what is your closest fight on track? Gary Clarball has come in. Where's John Goudet? John Goudet's gone through. And so Gary Clarball comes in. Stephen is in as well. DJ Phil opting to stay out. What other fights is going on? We got Mirko Richie on the back of Robert Smith. Can he do anything about the guys in front? Monkey Boy and Francesco are already out and gone. So the guys in the back haven't really jumped any of these guys. Argent's only now leaving, but he's been jumped by Richie Michelle and Steve Beck here. So not a good start for him. And here comes Paul Williams. He goes past on Richie Michelle. So Richie Michelle dropping down the order after he does his pit stop. But Monkey Boy, the leading pitter now. Can he gain a little bit of time on Luke Saunders? That is the question. It looks like he got a little bit loose through the second chicane. He manages to collect it up together. But Luke Saunders now ahead of Player Man, and Justin Winter and Lando Norris just kind of just sitting in no man's land together, trying to work their way, use their pace with one another to try. Oh, Lando makes contact with Justin Winter, trying to go around the outside of him at Parabolica. Justin Winter's going to try and stay strong on the inside. Lando will not have to pit now, as Justin Winter surely will pit. Yes, he will. Into the pit lane he comes, and through will go Old Sim Racer as well. John Goudet trying to gain as much time as he possibly can with the clean air. But we go back to Sam, who's got a bit of pressure from Robert Smith and Mirko Richie as well. Richie Michelle only a couple of positions behind his teammate. But Robert Smith gaining points here in this sprint race. Justin Winter in the pits. It seems like a fairly long stop. John Goudet in as well. This is a long stop for Winter, I think. It's usually just a 3-second stop. But Luke Saunders, though, got comfortable lead at the minute. Monkey Boy goes past on Justin Winter, so not as long as I probably thought it was. There goes Francesco as well. He should come out between this Rob and Sam fight. There is Sam, he goes through, Robert Smith goes through, as does Mirko. Robert Smith is now going to attack into turn number 1 on Sam and gets the job done. The FBR boy passing his fellow league friend. And John Goudet also coming out of the pits. Where does he fall in after all this? He's behind Ramsell, so he's still down the order quite a bit here. We just wait for the leaders to come through now, but Monkey Boy is on a mission to try and get a win that he hasn't had in a very long time here at SimPlay Motorsport. It's going to be hard to ask because Luke Saunders has pretty much been pitch perfect so far this race. He's only got a couple of laps to get this stop done, and he comes in now. I'm expecting the top 4 all to come in now. So Luke Saunders into the pits, player man into pit lane as well. And where is Lando Norris? There he is. He's coming in, as will old Sim Racer. They will not be able to get around, so they're all pitting this lap. Monkey Boy, Francesco, and then we got this fight. Robert Smith pulling away from Sam, with Mirko Ricci right behind, but Paul Williams is the one looking racy. He's on to the back of Brian Craig, and it looks like Richie Michelle has had another moment. He's got a little bit more damage to the front end of his car, as Dennis Hansen now sets the fastest lap of the race as he hunts down Fat Bloke. And Luke Saunders has been in the pits. Oh no, he's going to go green now, but he's only just beaten player man. Where's Monkey Boy? Monkey Boy's on the exit of Parabolica. He's made a right mess of that because he's now lost the lead of this race because player man is right on the rear wing. If Monkey Boy had kept it all clean together, he would have jumped these two, but he's not going to. Lando Norris comes back out. That's Francesco as well, all coming out. Lando Norris is the one that's made the big jump, and Gary Carble and Francesco go straight on as they both missed the corner. So Luke Saunders still leads, but Playerman's brought the gap down massively as Lando Norris is going to feed in behind Monkey Boy, who's currently just ahead. Francesco Gomez got back past Lando Norris, so not sure what happened there. Probably straight line the chicane helped him out. Who else is on a move? Rob Smith has made a move on Brian Craig, as all the positions start to work its way correctly. Richie Michelle with damage to the front of his Lamborghini. It's been hunted down by Steve Beck. And Fat Bloke losing out to Dennis Hansen. It looks like Fat Bloke dropped further and further back. Paul Williams, meanwhile, kicking up a little bit of dirt in front of the pack in front. But they gap to the leader now, Luke Saunders and Playerman, 7/10. So Playerman really looking strong here. Monkey Boy in third with Francesco. Oh, a big moment. Can he keep it together? Yes, he does. But Lando's going to have a great run, a great exit, and through goes Lando. Meanwhile, Robert Smith under some pressure from Old Sim. So he's cleared Old Sim Racer, sorry. But Sam in 8th. With Mirko Ricci right behind him. Justin Winter all pushing the limits there. And Richie Michelle still under some pressure from Steve Beck. Car back in the pits. That is the cranky duckhead. But Luke Saunders, the BMW straight line, help it out in a straight line against the Porsche. But Lando here under some pressure from Francesco Gomez, sorry. Can't find a way through. Lando Norris currently P4, the number 4. Can he hold off Gomez towards the end of this race? Can Monkey Boy start to creep onto the leaders? That's the question. Because Playerman is looking threatening. Oh, meanwhile, Paul Williams had a little coming together there with Rob Smith, and Rob Smith gains the advantage. Steve Beck has cleared Richie Michelle, so Richie Michelle really struggling now. As Rob Smith trying to get out of the way. I think he's trying to give the position back to Paul Williams. This is going to end in tears. Through goes Steve Beck. Rob Smith has to bail out, and Rob Smith just staying in front of Richie Michelle. So maybe a little coming together with Paul Williams. That's just put him back behind him again just to make sure he doesn't get a penalty. Meanwhile, Luke Saunders has got massive pressure now coming from Playerman. 3 minutes left to go, and these two are going at it for the race win here at Monza. Monkey Boy sat in third. Lando not able to do anything with him at the minute, but Old Sim Racer sticking with Rob Smith at the minute. Mirko Ricci looking to attack Sam, so this fight's happening left, right and centre. And we go to this 4-way fight as Richie Michelle is looking like he's going to start coming a little bit of pressure from Arjun now behind. Don't think Playerman had the best Parabolica. He's dropped behind Luke Saunders a little bit more. Luke Saunders now leading the way. And he's starting to pull away from playing man. Monkey Boy catching him. And they're all still relatively close to one another. One makes a mistake, then they're all still in for it as Old Sim Racer sticking to Robert Smith quite well at the minute. And probably giving him more of a hindrance, just making him look in the rearview mirror a little bit more than he needs to. Meanwhile, Steve Beck and Paul Williams are going at it, and Steve Beck up the inside. Job done, but the rear end looked a little bit loose as he's just trying to keep it all together, and he managed to do so, but Paul Williams comes up short, and that's going to allow Rob Smith to have another look at Paul Williams again, as Arjun now gets onto the back of this group. One and a half minutes still left to go in this race. And Steve Beck in the lead of this group of guys. He's just cleared Paul Williams. But Rob Smith looking up the inside of Paul Williams into the first Lesmo. He's all over the curb. He's going to try and stay there, try and get the run, as Richie Michelle looking to try and gain as many points as he possibly can, because the championship contenders are now starting to outscore him quite a bit here. As now we look at Argent going around the outside of Richie Michelle. Richie Michelle with no straight line advantage at the minute. Massive damage to the Lamborghini, and he loses out there. But Argent has his own moment, and Richie Michelle looking to come back at the BMW driver. Luke Saunders, though, starts his final lap here, ahead of Player Man, ahead of Monkey Boy, ahead of Lando, who's caught Monkey Boy up, and Francesco in 5th place. Meanwhile, Robert Smith is under pressure from Old Sim Racer. But we go back to that four-way fight. And now Robert Ramsell is on to the back of Richie Michelle. So he's lost time hand over fist to everyone here. That damage to the Lamborghini is hurting him massively here. And the Ferrari now looking to the outside of the Lamborghini. And he gets the job done. Richie Michelle, no answer. With damage that significant to his car, he had no real fight. Old Sim Racer really pressurising the back of Robert Smith. Robert Smith just needs to hang in there, get solid points over his championship rival. As they head into the chicane, Steve Beck, Paul Williams, Rob Smith, Argent, Robert Ramsell, Richie Michelle, and then John Goudet, again, just creeping onto the back of this fight, but he's not going to get there in time, I don't think. But what a drive from this man, Robert. I thought Robert looked like he was about to lose a position there to Old Sim Racer, but it's going to be Luke Saunders. Hasn't won a race since he's come back to SimPlay Motorsport, but in the BMW, he exits the final corner here at Parabolica. Luke Saunders takes the win in the sprint race. Congratulations to him. Second will go the way of Player Man. Third on the podium goes Monkey Boy. Lando Norris in 4th, Francesco in 5th. Robert Smith is going to finish in 6th place position. Good points for himself. Old Sim Racer finishes in 7th. Sam is going to finish in 8th. 9th is going to be Mirko Ritchie. 10th is going to be Justin Winter. Brian Craig will finish in 11th place position, with Steve Beck just hanging in there against Paul Williams by the looks of things. And through goes Steve Beck. Paul Williams into 13th. 14th, oh, it was going to be Argent. Yeah, 14th is Ramsell. Rob Smith in 15th. Richie Michelle 16th. John Goudet 17th. Argent ended up in 18th, just ahead of Stephen. DJ Phil is going to finish in 20th. Dennis Hansen is going to get fastest lap of the race, though, to his name. Fat Bloke is going to stay ahead of Casper Olin. That's your last real position fight at the minute. As I will try and quickly get these results in. But these guys still are battling it out at the minute. Fat Bloke, more damage to his car, so he's just been having to just recover this race. Not been the night for Fat Bloke. He had a good practice race as such. But He has come across the line now to finish in P22, 23rd for Casper Olin, and Gary Klabel, 24, Cranky Duckhead, in that last place position. So I'll just take a quick screenshot of that just in case I don't get it done in time. But that was race one, guys. We will be back in a few moments' time as we'll go into the break, and we'll be back with the next qualifying session. So we'll see you in a few moments' time. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, the SimPlay Motorsport. Sorry for the brief delay. Putting in the results and quick toilet break. But we are live. We are back for the qualifying session here. As we get ourselves underway for qualifying, as I have somehow miraculously figured out how to do the points. So here we go. This hopefully should sound right. So Richie Michelle still leading the championship, but his championship lead has been cut by quite a bit. 65 points now separating him and Robert Smith in second place. Justin Winter now 87 points behind, with Dennis Hansen in P4. He's 88 points behind the leader as well. Old Sim Racer moving up into P5 with Mirko Ritchie sitting in P6. Steve Beck in P7 with Sam in P8. Francesco sitting in P10 with John Goudet in Francesco sitting in P9, Goudet in P10. Casper Olin in 11th with Lando Norris in 12th. Paul Williams is in 13th place position with Playerman in 14th. 15th is Luke Saunders with Argent in 16th place position. Monkey Boy in 17th. And in 18th is Brian Craig. 19th is Fat Bloke and Gary Clarble in 20th. Darren Bell in 21st with Cranky Duckhead in 22nd. 23rd is DJ Phil with Rob Smith in 24th and Ramsell in 25th position. Graham in 26th, the Jackal in 27th, Kane in 29th, and Vigus in 30th position. And Stephen getting on the points with Lucas just in front of him in 33rd and 34th position. Now hopefully we should have the Jackal in for this one. Do we have the Jackal? Not as yet. But who is the first one on a lap? I think it's the 6. It looks like a 418. Yes, it is, of Player Man. He's going to be the first one to set a decent lap time around here. As Player Man comes to the line. He doesn't actually put a lap time on the board. Luke Saunders in the final corner. It's Dennis Hansen to set the pace, but Mirko Ritchie then goes to 49.0. We've got the 117 coming to the line. That is Robert Smith. He only goes P5, as there's a lot of cars coming up, and that is Luke Saunders just behind Rob Smith, who puts a time on the board. Luke Saunders doesn't get a lap time on the board, so Mirko Ritchie still at the top. Justin Winter goes into P2 as the lap times are coming in. Francesco goes into P8, been dropped by Steve Beck now, but we are looking to the number 4 of Lando Norris exiting the Parabolica. Has he got a decent lap time underneath him? He only goes P7 with that lap time. Mirko Ritchie setting the pace, and Stephen Eyre into P5. More lap times coming in. Monkey Boy goes into P6, and as all the cars are just working their way through the order. Where's Richie Michelle? There he is. He's not been able to put a lap time on the board. A few of the others haven't managed to do so either, and the Cranky Duckhead crosses the line. He doesn't put a lap time on the board. As you now look for the 181 of Gary Clarble exiting the corner. He crosses the line and he goes into 16th place position. You now look back to the 418 of Player Man. Who comes into the Parabolica now. What can he do here? Is he going to get a good lap time on the board? Player Man to the line. And goes into 12th place position. We've got the 666 of Dennis Hansen. Has he improved? He has a little bit. Mirko Ritchie doesn't improve on his lap time. The number 3, Brian Craig, no improvement. John Goudet's back to the pits. And Monkey Boy now exiting the final corner. He's in the slipstream of, I believe, Casper Olin just in front of him. Robert Smith, meanwhile, goes up to P3 as Monkey Boy now improves to go P3 as well. Where is Richie Michel? He's coming through the Ascari chicane. A few other drivers improving, and Stephen Merlington has gone fastest overall in the Ferrari as Lando Norris now comes to the line. He now goes P2, so lap times are now improving. We're starting to see some of the quicker guys as now Richie Michel exits the final corner in his Lamborghini. Is he going to go pole? Yes, he does. He does a 48.4 to his name. So an improvement there from him and gets a decent lap time on the board. We look to Gary Klabel next on a lap. And he exits the final corner. Down towards straight. Gary Klabel only 19th place position. So let's see who else is on a lap. We've got the 96, I believe. It's really difficult to read. The writing is so tiny, and Sam, that is. No improvement there for Sam. I don't think he was on a valid lap. It is then Player Man coming back to the line. Can he improve on 16th? He does. He goes to 8th place. We've now got Dennis Hansen right behind him. He now goes P2 within a 10th of the Lamborghini. Moko Ritchie does not improve. We've got the 117 of Robert Smith. Does he improve? He does. He goes to 6th place with that one. There's a few cars coming up to the line now. Ramsdale goes up to P6. And Old Sim Racer currently in P10. Brian Craig improves and goes up to P3. So an improvement from himself there. 63 or 68. So I think it's coming to the line. It was the 68. I couldn't see what time they did. But here comes Lando Norris. He now goes top of the session. Lando Norris setting the pace. Goes fastest overall. A good lap from him as the 180 of Paul Williams does make a slight improvement. As we now look to Richie Michel, who is in currently 2nd place position. Richie Michel, does he improve? No improvement. Is currently Lando Norris on pole position. The Cranky Duckhead currently P20 at the minute. Goes up to 17th place position. A little improvement there from him. We're still waiting for a lap time from Argent, Fat Bloke and DJ Phil. Here comes Argent now. And Argent does put a lap time on the board. He struggles to do so sometimes, but he's actually managed to get a lap time on the board this time round. And DJ Phil does put a lap time on the board, but stays near the back of the pack as Fat Bloke is on a lap. And we work our way back to the order again. It is going to be Player Man next to Set a Lap. And he has a run to the line, and he makes a slight improvement to 12th place position. The 117 looks like the next car on a lap. That is Robert Smith. And to the line comes Robert Smith now. Any improvement? Yes, he goes up to P5. And that's the 77 of Luke Saunders, your race winner just now. As there's a lot of cars exiting the Parabolica. Will go on board with Francesco Gomez, but keep an eye on the board to see any improvement. It is Francesco who's going to cross the line. No improvement from him. And Justin Winter just behind. No improvement either for them. It is Lando Norris now in the McLaren, currently on provisional pole. Can he extend that gap? No improvement there. And again, some of the guys just coming to the line. We've got Stephen Merlington. He's exiting Parabolica now. To the line comes Stephen, and no improvement. There's Richie Michel on a lap. He gets within 31 thousandths of Lando Norris's time. So close, but not quite enough. He's going to have to go again. The 31 of the Cranky Duckhead coming to the line. Any improvement? No improvement for himself there, as the 52 of Argent is on a lap. Running it fine on the exit of the Parabolica. Okay, so Matt Wright is just giving me a few tips to just change the stream a little bit. So we're just going to have to change this a little bit. Oh. Just going by what his settings are, because he reckons that this will make the track and everything look a little bit nicer. So we're going to do that. Every little helps, I guess. So hopefully that should be a bit better. Right, anyway, back to the lap times. Dennis Hansen exiting the final corner. I hope that is an improvement. But to the line now comes Dennis Hansen. And he does not improve. John Goudet crosses the line. Where is John? He's currently sat in P10 at the moment. And a few cars improving there. I think it was Old Sim Racer. Yes, he improves up to 7th place position as Richie Michelle has now gone fastest overall with a 48.1. So Lando Norris now sat in that P2 position. Can anyone now improve? Lando's in the pits. He's not got long if he wants to come out and do a lap time. The 96 is Sam. He's now coming into the Parabolica. And through in out of the exit of the Parabolica. Sam, no improvement for himself there. The 32 of Richie Michelle now coming through the Parabolica. Not Richie Michelle, Mirko Richie, that's the one. I hope that has helped. Please tell me if that has helped, guys. As Mirko Richie cross line, he's in P at 9. But thank you, though, to Matt Wright. As Luke Saunders now coming to the line. He goes P9 now with that lap time. With Franco Gomez also, Francesco Gomez, he's improving, goes to P5. It is then Justin Winter just behind him, and Justin Winter stays in P12 at the minute. And John Goudet currently in the slipstream of a McLaren in front of him. And that was Dennis Hansen, I think, and John Goudet goes into a P9 with that lap time. And with the 52, 56 is it? The 56. Oh no, the 59 of Steve Merlington, he goes into P7 now. But Lando Norris staying in the pits. He's not looking like he's going to improve anymore, so he's happy to start on the front row. But Robert Smith looking to try and improve his lap time. We've got the 55 of Fat Bloke. He has managed to put lap time on the board earlier on. Is he going to improve on this one? No improvement for himself there. So next car that is on a valid lap is in the far end of the circuit. That's the 204 of Justin Winter, the first one of the valid lappers. Yeah, hopefully, like I said, that would have helped the stream a little bit. Like I said, I'm not usually used to streaming straight on the channel. But Justin Winter, I don't think he's going to get another lap time. Has he invalidated it? No, he hasn't. So he is still on a lap, and a few others are still on a lap. At the minute, Richie Michelle is on current pole position. And into the Parabolica we go. Justin Winter has a big snap, a big moment out of Parabolica, and I think that's really going to ruin his lap time. And he's coming into pit lane. Yep, that is done for him. And Dennis Hansen, though, can he steal pole position away from Richie Michelle? To the line he comes. He does! Dennis Hansen takes pole position right at the very end, but Richie Michelle is still on a lap, as is Argent Robert Smith. And the, what car is that that's in the final corner? I believe it's the 99 of Monkey Boy, who's on lap time 15th at the minute. Can he improve? He goes up to 14th place position. We've then got the 555 of Fat Bloke on a lap. And Richie Michelle has gone wide. He's made a mistake. He is done. So Dennis Hansen steals a point there, unless somebody else can go quicker. Can Robert Smith find half a second? He's into the Parabolica. Even if he gets a little bit closer, find 4/10, he'll be with the leaders. He gets a good run, he gets a good exit, but he goes out into the pit lane. So it is Dennis Hansen who steals pole position here at Monza from Richie Michelle, from Lando Norris, from Brian Craig. A brilliant qualifying session from him, from Francesco Gomez, Robert Smith, Stephen Merlington, Old Sim Racer, Goudet, Luke Saunders, Mirko Ricci, Justin Winter, Robert Ramson, Monkey Boy, Player Man, Paul Williams, Sam, Gary Carble, Fat Bloke, Steve Beck, Argent, Cranky Duckhead, Rob Smith, Casper Olin, and just at the back as well, DJ Phil at the back of the pack. Dennis Hansen there taking pole position right at the end of the session. A great lap time from him there. Lando Norris with a good lap time as well, but obviously a lot of people knows Monza relatively well, so yeah. Guys, if you haven't done so, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss any of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport. Excuse me. Currently got 25 of you watching the stream. Please, guys, all of you hit that like button. It's going to be a long night for myself, but I'm trying my very best here. As we're about to get things
20 seconds.
underway. But where is Dennis Hansen on my thing here? Yeah, pole position for him. But yeah, let's hear you guys in the chat. We are looking forward to this one, I think. Lando Norris up there, Dennis Hansen and Richie Michelle carrying on their long, hard fight this season. Watch out for Robert Smith later on. He's got some good pace in that car. Possibly might be able to use it later on. I just find out it's Brian Craig's best finishing position to date. So a brilliant job from him there. And Paul, we'll see how these boys all get on as they go through turn number 1 for the 3rd time tonight. Yes, the 3rd time. It's going to be some... I think there's going to be some form of incident going into turn number 1. This is Monza we're talking about. There's always something that's going on. The FBR boys just struggling a little bit in this one. Robert Smith, the highest FBR driver. As I'm just currently trying to put in the qualifying results. As best I can, and it's interesting actually to see some of these guys' results. And that was actually Old Sim Racer's best qualifying session yet this season. So good job from him. I'd say I'm coming around to... I'm going to try and get this done before they get to the end of the lap. It's going to be a big ass, but I'm going for it. If not, I'm just going to have to bail on it. And Justin Winter, just at the qualifying, he's been P4 in the last 3 rounds. And this time round, he's not going to be near that. He's down in 12th place position, P4, consistently there. But he's lost his consistency at P4. No Jackal tonight, no Yoshi. Luke Saunders, he's up into P10, and I think not his best. His best was a P6 last time out at Laguna Seca. As these guys will now get themselves into a 2x2 formation. I was about to get ourselves ready to go racing once again here at Monza, the Temple of Speed. Who is going to come out on top of this one? Let's see you guys in the chat. And there we go, managed to get all the qualifying results in just in time. Ready for this one. It is McLaren and Lamborghini on the front row once again. It is Dennis Hansen versus Richie Michelle. Who's going to come out on top? We now just wait for the green here at Monza for the final time for the Pro-Ams. And we are green and going. Dennis Hansen gets a drive through. He jumped the start. Race ruined instantly there for Dennis Hansen, but he's still going to be probably racing into turn number one. But he's just gone and thrown that all away as Dennis Hansen heads towards turn number one. Brian Craig gets the jump on Lando Norris as well, but Dennis Hansen leads into the first couple of corners here, and there's all sorts of chaos there. That's Robert Smith getting caught up with all sorts of chaos, and Mirko Ritchie facing the wrong way. Where is Mirko? Yeah, there he is, and Arjun's gone round. Who else is involved in that? DJ Phil and Cranky Dughead all waiting to get going, but Hansen from Craig is in that third place position as Lando Norris got involved in all that, but these three disappearing up the road, and old Sim Racer has gone with him. Lando Norris going around the outside of Francesco there, and I'm trying to get onto the right driver as the timing board updates. A few going straight over the second chicane, but once again chaos in turn number one as they all work their way through Lesmo 1 and then into Lesmo 2, but it's Dennis Hansen leading the way, but with a drive through to his name. And that has really ruined his race instantly, as it's got Richie Michelle breathing down his neck as they head up towards Ascari. He's got two options here. He can either do it straight away and get it out of the way done, or he can do it to the very last moment if he possibly can and try and gain a little bit of time, but he will end up in more of the pack. But Richie Michelle, though, probably sitting there thinking, oh, this is an absolute gift after race one. And Robert Smith caught up in all the incidents. We can see here John Goudet has had a decent start here. He's up the inside of Stephen Merlington here, and we just see Francesco Gomez running a little bit wide. And Richie Michelle in the slipstream of the McLaren. We'll come back to them. Is he going to try and send it up into turn number one? Richie Michelle doesn't have to do anything. Meanwhile, Justin Winter has got Lando Norris, Robert Smith, and a whole gaggle of cars here. John Goudet is going to send it on Steve Merlington into turn number one. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he does, as Lando Norris misses his brake and hits the Ferrari and drops down the order once again. Monkey Boy is having a fight with Luke Saunders by the looks of things as well. So after the chaos of the first lap, they have all managed to get going and into a somewhat of a decent order as Sam just passes player man there. Meanwhile, Richie Michelle pretty much pushing Dennis Hansen here at the minute. And Dennis Hansen, I think, is just going to try and hold Richie Michelle up as much as he possibly can to allow Brian Craig and old Sim Racer to try and get on the back of him. Francesco Gomez has dropped this gaggle of cars, and look at them all just behind Fat Bloke looking to make a move on Player Man by the list of things. Rob Smith has got past Player Man, so there's all sorts of moves happening. But Steve Merlington is in the front of this train with Justin Winter behind him. John Goudet has now dropped behind all of these guys, actually. So John Goudet was in front of all of them, and he's dropped back behind them. . Meanwhile, Dennis Hansen and Richie Michel still going at it. If anything, Dennis Hansen's pulling away now, but it's all going to be undone pretty quickly. As he exits Parabolica. When does he do it? Not yet. But there we see Robert Smith trying to go around the outside of John Goudet, but can't get the job done. Lando Norris from Robert Ramsell. And Luke Saunders just on the back of him as well. Monkey Boy's got major damage. He was in 13th, having a great race there, but he's got major damage to the front end of his car, and he has been to come straight back into the pits. The bonnet is open. We go back to Ramsey, who's under pressure from Lando Norris. Norris going around the outside. He's missed his brace again. He's struggling with turn number 1, but it's going to be enough to be up the inside of turn number 2. And he gets the job done. Luke Saunders now looking up the inside of Robert, but he can't get the job done. Can't get the traction from the BMW. Richie Michel now right behind Dennis Hansen, but again, he doesn't have to do anything. He just has to sit and wait till he pits. Robert Smith now looking to attack on John Goudet. Stephen just has to straight line the second chicane. Lando Norris has gone deep through it as well, and that's going to make him vulnerable to Robert, who's looking to the inside but can't find a way through. Meanwhile, Robert Smith does get the job done on John Goudet. Down towards the Scary chicane, there you go. Dennis Hansen, fastest lap of the race to his name. Richie Michel in second. Brian Craig in third. Old Sim Racer fourth. Francesco in fifth. And Steve Merlington under some pressure from Justin Winter as they go through Scary chicane. Orlando Norris, though, under some immense pressure from Robert again and Luke. And now Sam's joined the party. He's brought Rob Smith and Playman and Fat Bloke. So still, this whole gaggle of cars still close to one another. And there's a car off. I'm not sure who it is. We can't quite see. It is Rob Smith, I think. Yes, it is Rob Smith. He's gone off, and Dennis Hansen's in for his drive-through. Francesco has now got the fastest lap of the race, but Monkey Boy now gets a drive-through as well. So once it goes bad, it gets worse for Monkey Boy. Richie Michel now probably going to disappear into the distance. And Stephen Merlington still being chased by Justin Winter. Oh, there's a car off in the background. Who is that? That looks like Robert. Robert has gone round, but he managed to get himself back going again, and he's behind Mirko Ricci. As they will work their way through the second chicane. Monkey Boy now a back marker, and probably the last thing he wants to be is in the middle of all these fights. As Justin Winter now trying to find a way through on Stephen. But no positions opening to him at the minute. Looks like Lando Norris is starting to come a little bit of pressure from the guys behind. John Goudet up into 8th place. And Sam in 11th. Trying to stick with Luke Saunders. Playman looking quite good in his Porsche. Oh, Luke Saunders has had a big moment. Has he gone into the wall? He's managed to avoid hitting anyone. I don't think he's hit the wall. So Luke Saunders, I think, might have just got away with that one and avoiding contact with anyone else. Steve Merlington now being chased by Justin Winter still. And Luke Saunders having more problems there. He did hit the wall by the looks of things, and he's now coming into the pits. Monkey Boy serving his drive-through as well. Meanwhile, Mirko Ricci now trying to attack Robert as they head up towards turn number 1. Lamborghini not quite close enough. And Playerman has managed to jump Sam. So Sam just dropping behind. And he's got his McDonald's teammate, the FBR team of Sam and Fat Bloke. going through the chicane. There they go. Old Sim Racer has caught Brian Craig right up here. And is going to be looking to try and take second place now. Luke Saunders in the pit. Major damage to the front end of his car. As Brian Craig bouncing over the curb there, as Old Sim Racer just trying to work his way onto the back of him. As there, we see Steve Merlington having a worse moment through Parabolica, and Justin Winter is right behind him, having a great run through that corner. Is he going to try and send it up into the Parabolica? He's getting alongside. He's going to have a look up the inside of Parabolica. Stephen gives him the space and respect. And up the inside goes Justin Winter. Another position gain for him. He is now in that 5th place position. So you got the FBR boys just having a little bit of scrap to themselves. Gary Clarble not far off, and Robert is now on the back of Gary Clarble. No real other fire sergeants on the back of the Cranky Duckhead. Monkey Boy a couple of laps down now. Luke Saunders is going a lap down, and DJ Phil and Steve Beck bringing up the rear here. But Brian Craig has pulled away from Old Sim Racer, so Old Sim Racer probably made a mistake somewhere. So I just see Casper Olin in the chat saying his pedal has failed, lack of 15% braking, impossible to calculate braking points over and out, sadly for Casper Olin. So he is done for this one, so he'll have to get a new pedal though. Fast lap of the race goes to Richie Michelle. He's currently just pulling away from Brian Craig, who's now starting to get some pressure from Old Sim Racer once again. Justin Winter still under pressure though from Stephen. Stephen now using someone else's as a braking reference, and Goudet not able to shake Lando Norris at the minute, who's just sticking to the back of him. The two FBR boys and Gary Clarble under pressure from Robert Ramsell. He's going to go around the outside if he gets that job done. Yes, he does. Great move into the Parabolica, and that is the Cranky Duckhead. He's in the wall. Argent's had a spin and a moment with him by the list of things. They wait for the entire pack to go through, and away they go. But Old Sim Racer right on the rear wing of that McLaren. They got a back marker of Luke Saunders just ahead of him. Into the chicane they go. And heading into the curb of Grande. Lando Norris and just John Goudet going at it. John Goudet got a little bit of a tap from Lando Norris. John Goudet flashed the lights. He's obviously not happy about that one. And Lando gains the position. And Player Man now looking to capitalise on that as well. It looks like Old Sim Racer had to go straight on at the second chicane. Justin Winter, a big moment in the background there. And he's going to come under pressure from Steve Merlington. Steve Merlington going to the outside and swoops around and gets the job done. Robert Smith just on the rear wing as well. And he just needs to start picking a few cars off, Robert Smith. He needs to start gaining a couple of positions so he doesn't lose too much out to Richie Michelle. But Francesco looking very fast here now. He's Francesco right on the rear wing of Old Sim Racer. And Old Sim Racer now probably looking more in his mirrors than he is in front. Oh, as that's Robert Smith, he has a small moment, and he's got damage to the front end of his car as well. So people just pushing a little bit too hard here at Monza. I think somebody was a little bit slow going through the Ascari chicane. No, they're all relatively fine by the list of things. But this is your three-way fight for second, third, and fourth. And Justin Winter's going to try and come back at Stephen. And Francesco, much braver on the brakes. He gets it stopped as well. A brilliant move there Daniel Ricciardo-esque there and gets the job done. A brilliant job from him and up and into another position. Meanwhile, Robert is right on the rear wing of Fat Bloke as they now head up towards turn number 1. Can he brake later than the BMW? Yes, he can. Fat Bloke gives him the space and respect and losing the position there. Cranky Duckhead returning back to the pit lane. Steve Merlington and Justin Winter going into the chicane. Close to one another now. Can Francesco do anything about Brian Craig as they go through a Lesmo 2? L7 says, I guess I've missed nothing. You've missed a lot. You've missed a heck of a lot, let's just put it that way. Justin Winter, though, Stephen Millington, currently still ahead of Justin Winter at the minute. What are they going to be thinking strategy-wise? That's the question. Fat Bloke is trying to stick with Robert, but he's got Gary Klarbel hunting him down as the gaps are starting to open up ever so slightly. But it's Justin Winter back on Stephen. And a good exit here from Justin Winter is what he needs. Francesco, meanwhile, has brought the gap back down to Old Sim Racer. Let's go back to that fight, because that is 7/10, but Old Sim Racer is on 4/10 on Francesco. And not quite close enough there from Brian. He's able to keep the position as Brian Craig, and meanwhile, Stephen holds on to his. Everyone else pretty spread out at this stage. Argent been into the pits, I think, has had a moment somewhere. But this is your closest fight on track, I reckon. At the moment, it is these three battling it out for second and third. And Brian Craig doing a fantastic job of just holding the two cars behind him. As they go through Lesmo 1 into Lesmo 2. And down underneath the banking they go. And Francesco really close to the back end of that McLaren. Can he find a way through? No, he can't. Just waiting for Brian Craig to make a mistake. Little hop and a skip and a jump out on the exit of Parabolic at the Ascari chicane. And Francesco looking to the inside of Parabolica. And he gets the job done as Old Sim Racer now going to go with him. Possibly, is that what Old Sim Racer needed? He just needed Francesco to really hunt him down and clear the space for him. And I think he's probably going to get the job done. They're quite evenly matched in a straight line as these two. And you can see the McLaren just getting a little bit. And Brian Craig moving a little bit too much over there. And he's missed his brakes completely. And how he's not managed to hit anyone is beyond me. But he does go straight on the chicane. Francesco had to react, and Brian Craig will have to give that position back. I was having a chat, but I figured that hopefully my race tomorrow goes cleanly if my work allows me to race at least. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully they'll allow you to race. But Brian Craig will have to give that position back up. He only made it because he went off track. So, and while these are all squabbling, Stephen and Justin Winter are now catching on to the back of him. So now Player Man putting some pressure under John Goudet as well. And John Goudet going wide, and Player Man's gone with him. So that's the only little saving grace they have there, is because he made a mistake. Old Sim Racer and Francesco have now cleared Brian Craig after he's finally given that position back. And Steve Merlington is now onto the back of Brian Craig. God, that Porsche sounds so good. Meanwhile, Robert Ramsell onto the back of Sam. Sam just keeping it cool and composed for the meantime. But Playerman wants as well another position. He wants to get past John Goudet. Currently in the top 10 is Playerman. Having a great night's worth of racing here at Monza. In the ground, you can see the Ferrari trying to get into the slipstream of the BMW. And heading into turn number 1 they go. I guess a little bit closer does Robert, but not quite close enough. Meanwhile, Stephen is now onto the back of Brian Craig. Old sim racer as well, pressurising Francesco. So Francesco was looking to try and hunt down Richie Michelle, who's way out in front. We're not going to see him for the rest of this session. But Francesco Gomez at the minute under some immense pressure from old sim racer. Shouldn't have changed camera because the cameras are rubbish on this one. I don't have a keyboard yet. But heading down towards the Ascari chicane, and they're still relatively close to one another, but old sim racer not really close enough to do anything at this stage. Meanwhile, John Goudet looks like he's had a moment. Playerman as well, and this has allowed Sam and Robert to have a go. Robert gets passed on Sam and John Goudet. John Goudet drops out of the top 10 now, but he'll be keen to try and get that back. And as I say that, he has a moment through the exit of his Ascari and loses out to to Sam now. Fat Bloke just on the outside of this fight. As once again, old sim racer pressurising Francesco as they go into the chicane. Francesco bouncing over the curb there, but he manages to hold position. And Brian Craig now getting some pressure from Stephen. I believe it's Stephen's first race as well. So the feature race going a lot better for him. But into the chicane they go. Oh, Justin Winters trying to go with him, but the back end of that Ferrari just moving around way too much. And old sim racer pretty much pushing Francesco now. Old sim racer though making a mistake. Stephen is pretty much pushing that McLaren. Is he going to look to the inside of Ascari? No, he's not quite far enough alongside. Considering that Ferrari's got quite a bit of scuff marks on the front and the side. And on the rear, Stephen's got a lot of pace in that Ferrari at this stage. And Brian Craig has caught back onto these guys. Playerman, meanwhile, ahead of Robert, Sam, Fat Bloke, and John Goudet's dropped even further back. He's behind, who's just gone past him? I think it is Fat Bloke. Yeah, so Fat Bloke's now got past John Goudet and is under pressure from Gary Clavel. Well, Sim Racer had probably not the best parabolic exit that he probably would have wanted, and is a little bit further back on Francesco Gomez at this stage. Stephen dropped a little bit of time as well to Brian Craig, not as close as he was, and Justin Winter is now creeping onto this, but Stephen's gone very bold. He's gone very bold into the first corner. He hits Brian Craig. Brian Craig runs wide, and Justin Winter goes, "Thank you very much, boys, I'll get involved in this." But he doesn't have the best exit, and Brian Craig gets back through as well. So Brian Craig up the inside. He's going to push Justin Winter as far wide as he possibly can. The Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel. Oh, they've come together big time. Massive contact there from Brian Craig, and he's not holding his brakes down, and he's managed to get it stopped eventually. But Brian Craig and Justin Winter, massive contact, and Brian Craig waiting for a gap to get going again. He's right on the exit of the chicane, and he's going to lose a lot of places there. And John Goudet has now got on to terms with Fat Bloke, but he runs wide in the first Lesmo and pushes a little bit too hard by the looks of things. And Francesco still pulling away or trying to maintain the gap to his rival, Old Sim Racer, at the minute. But a big off from Brian Craig. He has managed to get going. Who's he fallen behind now? It is Paul Williams. So he's dropped all the way down to 18th place position. So not the race for those boys. Old Sim Racer once again within 4/10, but is he going to be close enough to send it into the chicane? If he was in the Lexus, he probably would. But he's in the Ferrari. The BMW is decent in a straight line as well. And he manages to get stopped. Stevens catching him as well. So Stevens got some pace in that car. As the pit window is about to open in 30 seconds time. Strategy is then going to start to come into play. Fat Bloke and John Goudet going wheel to wheel. John Goudet right on the rear wing of the BMW driver. And there is the pit window. No one's really there to capitalise on it. But will we see a few drivers coming in? Possibly Old Sim Racer, who's actually got past Francesco. So Francesco either made a mistake or what. But either way, Francesco has lost out to Old Sim Racer. So Old Sim Racer now up in the second place position, with Steve Merlington catching them very quickly. Justin Winter not a million miles behind them either, as John Goudet is still trying to find a way on Fat Bloke, but he can't find a gap through at the minute. Brian Craig dropping further and further down the order. He's now dropped behind Rob Smith and now Steve Beck. As we now come into the first couple of corners, Richie Michelle still going on as Old Sim Racer does choose to pit. In comes Luke Saunders as well. Is that Robert Smith as well? Yes, it is. He's choosing the pit at this stage. John Goudet's made another mistake. He's run wide and comes straight into the pits with that mistake to get his pit stop over and done with. So Old Sim Racer is dropped and away he goes. There's Robert Smith. Is he going to repair the damage? If he's not got too much damage and it's not hurting him too much, you might as well just carry it on. He's in there a while, is Robert Smith. So and Francesco, meanwhile, has now been caught by Stephen, who, like I said, yes, he's got damage to his car, but he's got some pace in it. And Justin Winter doing his usual thing of just hanging it sideways. Robert Smith, meanwhile, is still in the pits. Is he changing tyres? Because John Goudet's got to go, and Robert Smith. So Robert Smith has not put a litre of fuel in. So your top two in the championship. I can't even click on Robert Smith. Where is Robert Smith? Has he disconnected? I can't click him. Is he in the pit lane? I don't see Robert Smith. Robert Smith is gone. Robert Smith's been disconnected. So Richie Michelle comes down the main straight as Francesco and Stephen as so Robert Smith losing out on points here now. And he's been disconnected from this race. Stephen, meanwhile, looking to try and make a move on Francesco. Lando Norris opts to pit. Meanwhile, Sam's got Robert still breathing down his neck. The two KM Racing duo are very racy at this stage and trying to capitalize as many points as they possibly can here. And once again, we just switch it between it. Oh, Paul Williams has had a moment. He's at the curb. He's gone round. Stephen goes through to try and find a way on Gomez as he possibly can. But no door is opening for him and nothing is being shown to him to say, look, there you go, mate, off you go. And Lando Norris is about to exit the pits. Where is old Sim Racer? He's long gone into turn number 1. So John Goudet may jump a couple of cars here. Lando Norris has been released. So a bit of clean air going to help some of the drivers. Arjit pitting as well. As they go through the Curva Grande, does Lando Norris. Stephen, meanwhile, is still on the back of Francesco and can't find a way through. Meanwhile, Robert looked like he may have had an opportunity of passing Sam. He's been close to him 2/10 and a 10th the last time I've seen the tables. So Robert looking to try and make a move or force a move open by trying to get Sam to make a mistake. He's not quite close enough. Stephen, though, meanwhile, comes into the pits. The key thing is, will he repair that damage? Because he's been looking very fast, even with the damage on board. He's been incredibly quick. He comes into the pit. It should just be a quick tyre. It should just be a quick shot. No tyres required. He comes in. He's not gone green yet. Yes, he has. Justin Winter. When does he go green? So maybe he had a little bit of fuel to put on board. Has he repaired the damage? No, he has left the damage. Justin Winter is about to get dropped. Yes, he does. So that works out roughly right. But where is old Sim Racer in all this? He's going down the main straight as Stephen has now been released. Old Sim Racer is going to stay ahead. And Justin Winter also being released off the limiter. He's got no one to worry about but Sam, who's got right onto the back of him. So Sam having a better stop. So maybe Sam has Sam possibly chosen to go full fuel. Into the chicane they go. Richie Michelle now pits, your race leader, who's got a relatively healthy gap at the minute. Francesco continuing to go on at the minute. Player man in P3, but obviously these are guys who haven't pitted yet. Spat Bloke in P5, Mirko Ritchie P6, Rob Smith P7. Old Sim Racers, the leading pitters. And Stephen in P9. DJ Phil yet to pit. Any close fights down the back? Sam was close to Justin, but not close enough. Gary Klarbel got a bit of a gap over Dennis Hansen as well, so no real close fights at the minute as Richie Michelle has gone green. And old Sim Racer is into the Parabolica, so maybe Richie Michelle was running a little bit lighter on fuel. He's about to get released. Back on track he goes. Just in the background there you can see old Sim Racer as he crosses the line. And it won't give me an up-to-date timing. Yeah, it's going to take a minute for it to update. Mirko Ritchie also came into the pits at that stage. Rob Smith in the pits, so no real excitement at the minute at this current stage. Guys, if you haven't done so, then please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as well, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss any of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport. And while you're at it, head over into the description the description down below to see our fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport as well. Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much, much more, including SimPlay merch. Audio Sport as well, manufacturers of VW Transporter T4 audio solutions, styling products, and head over to www.audiosport.co.uk. Francesco now comes into the pits. If you do want to be a part of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport, then head over to our Discord page and our sim grid, get yourself signed up, do your hot stints so that you are able to race here at SimPlay Motorsport. That player man looked like he came in quite fast then. Robert now into the pits as Richie Michelle coming down towards the Parabolica. The gap is 8 seconds actually, so after a massive gap that Richie Michelle had, that gap has come down to 8 seconds. So he's either added fuel or he's added tyres. It wouldn't be tyres because he would have lost 30 seconds and he would have probably been behind Old Sim Racer, so he must have ran light and got going. As Francesco Gomez now comes out of the pits, is he going to stay ahead of the Old Sim Racer? Yes, he is. So he's opted not to. That's probably why Francesco was looking a little bit slower at the start. He's opted not to take lighter fuel and just come in, stop, and off he goes. Old Sim Racer losing that position, so we have to repass him once again. 31 stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and that is the cranky duckhead. DJ Phil now into the pits, and it's just Fat Bloke. We are left for a pit stop, but he's not going to make it round in time. So Fat Bloke is going to get himself a penalty. Francesco manages to get the gap down to 6.1 to Richie Michelle. Can he do anything more to that lap time? That's the question. And Steve Beck is on the rear wing of Rob Smith now as they head into the Parabolica. The pit window has now closed. Fat Bloke misses the pit window. And through goes Steve Beck and Rob Smith. Rob Smith choosing that Ferrari 488 thanks to the Wheel of Names. He just randomly put all the names together, and whatever car it picked, that's what car he was racing in. He's just staying ahead of Steve Beck at the minute. Is Fat Bloke going to pit? I don't think Fat Bloke's going to pit. No, he's going to carry on going through. Is he going to try and go as long as he can and take the penalty? He's obviously not going to win the race, but is it a risk worth taking? Meanwhile, we got this great fight at the minute. Rob Smith running a little bit wide into Lesmo 1, but Steve Beck right on the rear wing of him. I think the penalty for not completing the pit stop is 120 seconds. So Fat Bloke currently going into Lesmo 1. He's 12 seconds ahead of Richie Michelle. Franco Gomez is now in P3, but we are still waiting to see what happens to Fat Bloke. As these two really don't have the pace of Richie Michelle, he's now opened the door again to the cars behind and just pulling away. Where is these two, Rob Smith and Steve Beck, going at it as they go into the Parabolica. And there goes Steve Beck on the inside. Good exit out of the Parabolica. He's going to go side by side with the Ferrari. And evenly matched by the list of things. The Ferrari not being out-dragged here. And can Steve Beck be better on the brakes? They're still evenly matched. He comes off him ever so slightly. He'll go up the inside and will have the job done. A beautiful move done there by Steve Beck. And up a position he goes. Sam's brought the gap down to Justin Winter as he's just pushing too hard on those rear tyres, because whenever we see Justin Winter, he's probably in a slide, saving a slide, mid-slide, starting a slide. He's in every type of slide. As he goes through the Parabolica. And no slide from him this time, so he hooked that up pretty well. But Sam's right behind him, ready to capitalise if he makes a mistake. But Justin Winter does make a slight gain as Richie Michelle is setting The fastest lap, he got 8 seconds to Francesco Gomez, but Old Sim Racer wanting to come back at him. What is Fat Bloke's game plan here? Has he just thought, I'm just going to take the penalty and see where I end up? So we'll see where Fat Bloke will come in and all that. I'm not sure what the goal is. Or he just wanted to lead the race for a little bit. So, Fat Bloke, your running order coming into the last 20 odd minutes of this race. It is Fat Bloke leading the way, but he's not done his pit stop, so he will possibly be getting a penalty to his name unless he does decide to do a stop. Richie Michelle, though, is your net race leader, fastest lap to his name as well. Francesco Gomez is in P3 with Old Sim Racer trying to hunt him down. Stephen Merlington, for his first debut here, he's in 5th and 6th place there. Justin Winter running very, very wide. And Justin Winter in 6th. Sam is now going to go around the outside of Justin Winter, so they're going to swap positions now. And Justin Winter not able to outbrake the BMW there. Sam gives him a little berth, and Justin Winter's going to stay up the inside though. Try and get a better run and a better exit. And Sam there just as he got the grunt, it looks like Justin Winter's got damage to his car, so he might be able to out-drag that Ferrari as they head up towards the chicane. And Justin Winter trying to be later on the brakes, and he does get it stopped. But how long will he stay in front? Lando Norris currently in 8th place in no man's land, with John Goudet in 9th, Mirko Ricci in 10th, with Robert Ramsell in 11th. Playerman in 12th position with Dennis Hansen in 13th. Gary Klarbel in 14th place for Steve Beck, just making a move for 15th ahead of Rob Smith. DJ Phil in 17th place with Paul Williams in 18th. Luke Saunders, your race winner from the sprint, down in 19th place with Brian Craig in 20th. Monkey Boy in 21st. Arjun in 22nd. And the Cranky Duckhead down in 23rd position. And I just see in the chat as well, Richard Beasley saying, a Fat Bloke forgot, and he's swearing a lot at the minute. Not very clever there, Fat Bloke. He's going to be re-watching this back and going, yeah, it's a fair point that Dan started ripping into me, because that's a big mistake. We've got one job to do, Fat Bloke. We've done enough rounds now, you should be able to know it. This is round 5. Silly sod. It's all that McDonald's he's forgotten to... he's so desperate to deliver all of his McDonald's orders, he's forgot to come back and get some fuel. Or come back and get his tips. So Sam exiting the Parabolica was close to Justin Winter, and Justin Winter now just creeped away from him. But no real fights happening at the moment here. Let's go on board with the frustrated man himself. Fat Bloke, I know you wanted to lead the race, but this is a bit over the top way of doing it. You had one job, mate. You just had to come in and pit within the pit window. And yeah. At least I know that when he comes here, my chicken nuggets will be nice and warm, because he hasn't messed around. Richie Michelle has catched him though, but it's going to be nothing really, because he's got that big penalty possibly coming over his head. The 31 has now cleared the stop and go. So that's Cranky Duckhead's the penalty cleared. Currently player man looking at trying to get onto the back of Robert at the minute. Oh, wait, not right, Skunky. Skunky in the chat he'll still be raging after race 1. Hard to get the concentration back sometimes. I know that feeling. You've worked so hard all night long, and nothing goes your way, and then you just get angry, and then everything you do, just the silliest of mistakes. Robert Ramsell now on the back, it looks like he's about to get overtaken. So player man looking to the outside, going into the parabolica, and he's missed his brake. He's just missed his brake, so he's going to lose out there. And he's now in a slipstream of the Ferrari. There's a good close fight between these two, and this Porsche looking very strong against the Ferrari. Not often you see a Porsche out-drag a car. And towards turn number 1, and he's not going to out-drag it, but he's going to try and out-brake it if he possibly can. The Ferrari's going to make sure he hits the braking zone himself, and he just managed to get pulled up, but he runs wide. He makes a mistake. Robert makes the mistake, and his player man going to go around the outside of the Curva Grande. And he will swoop around the outside, but again, that Porsche weak in a straight line. He'll be under some pressure into the second chicane. But he holds on to that position. Player man making more positions up. And Robert just pushing a little bit too hard there. Richard Beasley says in the chat, he stopped at KFC to get and got completely sidetracked. No luck for Fat Bloke tonight. Well, we did have luck in race 1. When I mean race 1, the practice race that we had instead of the reverse grid, he was looking very good in that. And then after we reset the lobby, he's gone spiraling downhill. What's the time penalty for not pitting? I believe it's something like either 120 seconds or 180 seconds, depending on the circuit. It's not disqualified. I believe it is just like a 120-second penalty or something like that. Andy, I'm glad I'm amusing you right now. Robert, meanwhile, can't quite stick with player man. Player man pulling away as Richie Michelle is getting within 3 seconds of the raging machine of Fat Bloke. It's like when you find out that when you go to McDonald's, and this always happens, especially in the UK McDonald's, you go to McDonald's and you've gone for either a milkshake or a McFlurry, and you turn up there and Fat Bloke's found out that the machine's broken. That's probably what he's raging right now. He's probably going, the machine is working, I need to come in there and make sure I get a McFlurry. But in this case, he has to settle for a crushing from KFC. But at the minute, Lando Norris has got a little bit of pressure from John Goudet. John Goudet's caught him back up. Player man has actually caught Mirko Ricci, so Mirko Ricci struggling towards the end of this race. So Mirko Ricci about to become under pressure from the Porsche driver. We'll look to John Goudet and Lando Norris in a few moments' time. But player man now, is he going to try and send it into the Ascari chicane? No, he's not quite close enough, and that's why Mirko's got a little bit of damage to the front end of his car. But you know what? After this, I might have to rewatch Fat Bloke's stream. Oh, Justin Winters. Justin Winters had a big moment. He's got major damage to the front end of his car. Justin Winter with major damage to his Ferrari. He's coming into the pits. Meanwhile, Richie Michelle has caught the raging Fat Bloke. Careful, Richie. Don't steal his burger because he might want to retaliate. I'm joking, Fat Bloke. I know you wouldn't do that. But player man now looking to make a move on the Lamborghini driver Mirko Ricci. Player man's got so much pace at the minute, but he's got so much pace he can't even make the chicane. So he will have to concede that position. I don't know what Mirko's doing. He's trying to let him go, his player man. And Mirko did it in a really odd way there. But Fat Bloke allowing Richie Michelle to take his rightful place as race leader. No burgers thrown through. And Old Sim Racer now come back at Francesco Gomez again. And we go back to John Goudet and Lando Norris. Might order myself a Big Mac and watch Fat Bloke stream. Could be rather entertaining. And Lando Norris bouncing over the curb, but John Goudet has got the pace now and is right on the rear wing of Lando Norris. He's going to look to try and possibly send it into Parabolica. John Goudet going around the outside of him. It's going to be a hard job to get it done there as Lando tries to brake later. John Goudet going around the outside. He's going to have a little bit more grip out there. And John Goudet, these two having a great little scrap going side by side. Player man did get past Mirko and now he's ended up back behind him. Old Sim Racers fighting and John Goudet with the best straight line advantage from the Mercedes. Lando misses his brake. He goes deep into the chicane. He does manage to get it together, but he does lose out to John Goudet and Goudet gets the position. Old Sim Racer meanwhile back on Francesco Gomez, and again this is pretty much for the second and third place positions. They're currently not there at the minute because the wider berth Fat Bloke is raging at the minute. Is currently in second place. At least I think what we need now to give Fat Bloke is a happy meal, and he might be a little bit happier. But Francesco and Old Sim Racer are coming up to the chicane, and Old Sim Racer not quite close enough, but Francesco has a little bit of a twitch by the looks of things. The car become a little bit unsettled, but Old Sim Racer did not have a great run through there. Player man once again is onto the back of Mirko Ricci, but Robert is right behind him as well. Justin Winter, after his damage, has come back out just in front of his teammate, Monkey Boy. Player man with a terrible exit through Lesmo 2. He's now under pressure from Robert, who's going to try and send it up into the Ascari chicane. The Ferrari better in a straight line, so should get there first. And he does, and a little bit of contact made, and Player man has to go over the grass, flashing the lights at him. Not too happy, and not the best rejoin from Player man there. And Robert actually dropped it and gone off himself. Is that Dennis Hansen? Yes, it is. Dennis Hansen working his way up. Reminder as well, Dennis Hansen had a drive-through at the very beginning of this race, and he's up into 12th place position. So a decent recovery from himself. Was Old Sim Racer lay on the brace, straight lines to chicane. He's going to have to yield that time for sure. Now Robert is under pressure from Dennis Hansen. I've hired him and Uber Eats, says Matt in the chat. Down towards turn number one, they go. Dennis Hansen looking to the inside of Robert. That's a bit optimistic there, Dennis. And he loses out to the exit there. Monkey Boy now in between the Mirko and Player Man. So Player Man losing out on that one. Once again, Francesco still a little bit further ahead of a Sim Racer. Every time I go onto them, they look like they're or about to go onto them. They look like they're about to go racing. Dennis Hansen, Robert still going at it. There's Dennis Hansen not quite close enough. We'll go back to your P2 and P3 fight because this is really for the final podium positions. Skunky in the chat says that Uber Eats driver is going to get smashed. Oh God. Big shout out to Mr. Dan Davis here, best commentary on YouTube, priceless. Thank you very much, Matt. But next time, make sure you spell my name correctly. I ain't got an E in my name. But thank you, very, very kind words. I am trying my best. I have gone a little bit insane. It's been a long night of commentating, a long night of racing. And my bed is calling me. I've got to be up at 5 in the morning. I'm just getting a little bit delusional now. No, the big shout out has got to go to this man. Fat bloke. He's not had the best night. He had a brilliant practice race, absolutely fantastic, and then oh god. I'll tell you now, he's definitely not loving it. Oh god. Oh god. Like I said, guys, if you like this stream, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. Oh god, I've lost the plot. Yeah, if you do want to be the part of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport, then hit that, head over to our Discord and our Sim Grid, get yourself signed up, and yeah. Oh god, I just feel so sorry for Fat Bloke. Skunky, let's give him driver of the day to cheer him a bit up. Oh yeah, I better start doing the driver of the day. He'll love that. That's the only thing that he's going to be loving. The caps have all spread out again. Old Sim Racers just dropped to Francesco Gomez. I really hope they're not watching this stream and giggling and driving, because it's probably the worst thing for him. Let's get driver of the day. He definitely got no luck racing, says Andy in the chat. He goes 5 vote. There's loads of vote. I think it's going to go the way of Fat Bloke. Monkey Boy is on the back of Justin Winter. That Mercedes-Benz should have the strength to try and attack the Ferrari. Oh, let's get this going. Driver of the day. I know where this is going, but yeah. Oh god, I should really be paying attention to what's going on. Make sure you do tune in tomorrow night. Hopefully we should have a pro stream going on. I can't even spell Fat Bloke now. Oh god. We'll obviously put a couple more names in there as well. Oh god. Put an extra toy in his Happy Meal and he'll be over the moon. Oh god. Like I said, there's no real fights going on at the minute. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night. Hopefully we will have a pro stream for you. Like I said, Matt had to run off in an emergency this evening, but hopefully all things will be good for tomorrow. Hi, in spell Francisco now. My sides are hurting, Andy. Oh god, I'm glad I'm amusing people this evening. Oh, John Goudet has caught Sam up. The other McDonald's driver, he's not going to be loving this now. He's going to be coming under some pressure from the Mercedes driver. So John Goudet slowly making a recovery back in this race. Susie's Green says Fat Bloke in the chat. Don't worry guys, you're going to get your vote for driver of the day in any second. I am just currently going through the choice of drivers to choose from. Redemption Fat Bloke. Hashtag no luck Fat Bloke. There you go guys, there's your poll. When Mathew Duffin away, the boys will play. Oh yeah, it gets a bit silly here, doesn't it? Don't need Francesco, just Fat Bloke. Well, there you go, guys. Put your votes in for driver of the day. 6 votes already going the way of Fat Bloke. Oh god. I hope he's smiling. I know he has a live stream on. I know he got his camera. I really do hope he's got a massive grin on his face. Oh god. So yeah, guys, get your votes in for driver of the day. I think I know the way it's going, oh, absolutely fantastic. John Goudet, though, is trying to put a little bit of pressure on Sam towards the end of this race. Next round of the season, I actually completely forgotten what is the next round of the season. Let's get the calendar up just as we come to the end of this race. There's your calendar for the end of the night, and the next round of the season will be the halfway stage. We head to Snetterton for the next round of the season, and we'll see if that bloke will have any more luck there. As Francesco Gomez is very slow there. Francesco Gomez has now lost second place position. And Francesco Gomez is looking like he might be under some pressure from Stephen later on as well. Old Sim Racer has dropped him. Has Francesco cut his fuel too tight? We need that interview. I'm sorry, but I can't do interviews. I think Francesco is going to be out of fuel here. He's slow. So Stephen Millington is going to end up on the podium, I think, here. Francesco is low on fuel. Richie Michelle, though, is going into the final corner. He's got 11.2 seconds over Fat Bloke. Diz in the chat saying Fat Bloke is driving today with only 1 foot. Okay, that's one way of doing it. But Francesco Gomez...
Okay, the leader is on the final lap now.
He's been passed by Stephen. Francesco's out of fuel. And Sam's made a mistake, he's in the wall. He's going to require a Happy Meal as well now. One driver has decided to vote for Lando Norris, and fair play, Lando has been a well-deserved drive from him. Francesco Gomez has to pit. No, he's going to risk it. John Goudet might still yet get a P5 position. Francesco Gomez is so slow. Lando Norris is now attacking Sam. Why is it all happening now? This was Fat Bloke's race to lose, win. Lando Norris now looking to the outside. Hi lads, Old Sim Racer for the poll, it says Aaron in the chat. We want a Fat Bloke interview. I can't do it, I'm afraid. It's too late in the evening already as it is. The race has now come to an end. We are on our last lap, and Lando Norris looking to make a move on Sam, but Francesco Gomez, he's tiptoeing around. He's low on fuel. He's going to get beaten by Sam. Where is Player Man? He's in the chicane. Francesco straight lines the chicane. John Goudet up into P5, but where is Richie Michelle? Richie Michelle now coming down the back straight. We've not seen him all night since Dennis Hansen got himself a drive-through penalty earlier on in the race. But out of the final corner comes Richie Michelle. He takes another race win here at SimPlay Motorsport. He wins the race. Fat Bloke is gonna come home for P2, but with a forgotten... He's flashing the lights. Oh, Fat Bloke, 132nd time penalty added to him. He comes across the line in second. Old Sim Racer will get the second place, and Stephen is going to come home for a third place position on debut. Third place for him, a brilliant drive from himself. John Goudet is going to finish in P5. Where is Francesco? There he is. He's rolling down the straight. He is out of this one, and John Goudet is going to finish in P5. We need to know why he missed the pit. Oh, I can't. Sam is going to cross the line in 6th. Lando in 7th. Francesco Gomez is done. He's rolling to the line. I think Old Sim Racer needs a shout out tonight. Great drive from him. Fantastic drive from him. A Player Man is going to come home for 9th place position. What burger did he drop in the footwell? Oh, the chat is rinsing Fat Bloke at the minute. But Player Man is going to come home into 8th place position. Gomez is done, and Mirko Ricci going to come home for 9th. Dennis Hansen for 10th place. Anyone going to give him a push? No. Robert in 11th. Francesco still rolling. GG's to Old Sim Racer. Massive GG's to him. Clarball will finish in 12th. Steve Beck in 14th, Rob Smith in 15th, DJ Phil 16th, Paul Williams 17th, Luke Saunders 18th, 19th is Justin Winter, Monkey Boy in 20th, Argent 21st, and Cranky Duckhead 22nd. We lost Robert Smith. I believe we lost another driver as well. And there is Francesco Gomez. He's been sat in our podium position the entire time, but he's going to roll home in 15th place position. What a night of racing. Yeah, he does. Old Sim Racer had a cracking race last week as well. I think Old Sim Racer, on actual merit, did deserve driver of the day, but just purely for bad luck, Fat Bloke gets driver of the day. Gomez has now returned back to the pits. It will be classified, but he has run out of fuel and ended up in 15th place position. Wow. What a night's worth of racing there. Fat Bloke, where did he finish in the end? He finished 14th place. Yeah, so I will screenshot the results so I can pop them in. But Fat Bloke ended up 14th place position, which, to be honest, I think is better than he probably would have thought. But that was the Pro-Am race. I will try and get the results in as quickly as I possibly can, as Peaceful will sort the server out for me. Thank God for that. So, but yeah, Richie Michelle is your race winner from Old Sim Racer, from Stephen as well. A brilliant drive from him. GG to all the lads. Thank you all guys for watching. Thank you for keeping me company in this one. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be notified. It has been a long night, but Fat Bloke gets driver of the day. Commiserations to him, but what a night's worth of racing. Old Sim Racer driver of the day. Fat Bloke providing the entertainment. Old Sim Racer, thanks guys. What a week. He's really enjoyed that one. But what I'll do is actually I'll pop up for the drivers. I'll post the current standings up in the Discord. But that is that here for SimPlay Racing. It's been a brilliant night worth of racing. It's been a bit chaotic, a bit crazy. I've tried my very best. Good race, excellent comms, amazing banter. Take it easy, lads. Says Skunky. Great stream, mate. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for all the support. It's been fantastic talking to you all, you boys. And yeah. From myself and everyone here at SimPlay Motorsport, we shall see you hopefully tomorrow night for the pros, as they will then hit the circuit. But from everyone here, it's good night and best of luck next week, Fat Bloke. Good night.